Here's Navarro on the run. Navarro's going to keep it. Navarro for 6. Touchdown, Bobcat.
I feel I had a hard time staying in my own lane.
Oh my goodness! Brett Murdoch, pick 6.
Horvath inside the 30, the 20. Blake Horvath will score.
And Mendoza takes a big hit. He never saw it coming. Trey White got in there.
There's his man, Rucker. And nobody's going to catch him. Goodbye.
Intercepted. Tyree Skipper. Touchdown.
Telly again, why not? A step forward and make it 2 for Telly.
Quarterback keeper. Showing off the speed. Steps on the gas. Untouched.
The G5 Hive. All G5, all the time.
Whoa! Week 1. So good, we had to do it again. Welcome to the G5 Hive Live, where we bring you the G5 college football coverage you love each and every week. Guys, last time we were talking about college football being back. Well, we got our first dose of just a full slate of games. We had some great week 1 games and even more great games coming up in week 2. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're watching us on X, give us a follow, a like, and a retweet. And if you're listening in podcast form, please rate and review. Finally, we've got G5 versus G5 games that we can talk about. Liberty at Jacksonville State, 12 p.m. Eastern, Conference USA game. Let me get to this one. Liberty favored by 6.5. Total over-under set at 52.5. This one,
it's interesting. I think it's going to be more interesting than I think people think.
But it's going to be interesting because I think it's more of a pillow fight.
Well, yeah, because Liberty did not. I mean, Liberty won, but they didn't really play anybody, and
they didn't look great.
They didn't look
Jacksonville
great.
No. Jacksonville State, yeah, they played UCF, but UCF didn't look like
neither one of them looked great.
Yeah, I guess give me the points.
What's the over under?
52.5.
That seems. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's kind of hard to. I don't know. I guess if I had to pick something, I'm probably picking the under based on how these two teams looked in week 1. But they're playing each other, and so maybe it's going to be a shootout. I don't know. To me, this is kind of a game to tell me is Liberty a serious contender to Western Kentucky, or a serious threat, I should say, to Western Kentucky in Conference USA? They don't play each other in the regular season, but in my opinion, by far. Western Kentucky kind of looks like the cream of the crop so far. Now they played 2 games versus most everyone else has only played 1. But if Liberty wants to say, hey, we're here, we're a serious contender, they got to win this by 10 or more points, in my opinion.
All right, next one we've got Fresno State at Oregon State, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Oregon State favored by 3.5, over-under set at 47.5. Oregon State, a team that did not look all that great.
Week 1. I mean, this is 2 teams that I feel like they want to do the same thing, right? They both want to run the ball, and run the ball some more. So the question is which one is going to do it more effectively?
I'm just curious which Fresno State team we get.
Right? Do we get the team that dominated Georgia Southern in the trenches, or do we get the team that was dominated in the trenches by Kansas in week 0? I mean, definitely a difference in competition.
Give me Fresno.
Yeah, I think I lean with Fresno State too, man. I think I would agree with you. I lean Fresno State in this game. And I don't remember, and maybe I'm again making things up in my head, but I thought maybe Anthony Hankerson got banged up a little bit in week. No,
I don't think so. He just got bottled up.
But the quarterback play with Malik Murphy was not good. And so, give me Fresno State.
All right, the game everyone needs to watch. If it's not on your radar, this is the game that you need to watch. It is Texas State at UTSA, a big G5 matchup. UTSA favored by 4.5. Over under set at 66.5. I'd be tempted to take the over of 66.5.
Or if I was going to bet the line, I think I'd take Texas State, man. Like this game, I think this game's going to be like a shootout, close game. I wouldn't be shocked either team's wins. I think these are two high-powered offenses.
Which defense can get a stop?
Right, and I feel better about the Texas State defense than I do the UTSA defense. So I lean Texas State to win this game, but nonetheless, should be an exciting game to watch. Like you said, lots of points, lots of fireworks. Robert Henry had a phenomenal game in week 1 against Texas A&M, right? Like it's an SEC defense, and I don't know, he had 150 yards, something like that. Lincoln Perry had a great game running the ball for Texas State. Brad Jackson looked good for Texas State. Owen McCown, I think, is going to look good in this game, man. Lots of offense, lots of touchdowns. Should be one of the better games in terms if that's what you want to see, high scoring, lots of offense. This is definitely the one that I'm watching. If I'm only picking one, this is the one to watch.
All right, we've got an American Conference game, UAB at Navy, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Over under set at 61.5. Navy favored by 21.5. UAB, tough game. I'm trying to remember who they played, but they were barely.
It was an FCS team.
I don't know if it was Alabama State or something like that. They were able to.
I don't remember who, but man, they won the game. But it was 45-43 or something, right?
I think Navy crushes this one. Navy's defense, one of the best in the American, if not all of the G5. I think they're able to put the clamps on UAB. I don't think they're able to move the ball like they did in week 1. And Navy's offense, I think if UAB gave up that much against an FCS opponent, I think Navy will have no problem. Maybe an early day for Blake Horvath, Navy wins this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Navy offense is going to roll, kind of have their way with UAB, and same with the defense. I think the thing to monitor is Trent Dilfer someone that obviously they won week 1, but is he someone that could?
He is definitely on the hot seat.
Yeah, is he someone that could potentially get fired in the season? You don't see that a lot, but I feel like he's one of those guys where it wouldn't shock me in season he loses his job.
All right. North Texas at Western Michigan, Waldo Stadium, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. North Texas favored by 9.5 points on the road. Over under set at 60.5. I'm just curious to see how the Drew Mestemaker and this team looks to gel. The defense looked a lot better than I thought it would in week 1. I would anticipate it looks pretty good here in week 2 because,
give me North Texas and the points, man.
Brock Lowry didn't even start for Broncos.
The Broncos offense looked rough. Looked really, really rough. I see no way, shape, or form them being able to keep pace with the North Texas offense. So, I'm shocked that the spread's only 9.5. Give me North Texas and the points all day, man. Drew Mestemaker, Miles Coleman. For those that aren't familiar, you're watching us for the first time, you're not familiar with North Texas and Drew Mestemaker. He's a good quarterback, number one, but a phenomenal story. He did not start a high school football game at quarterback except for his freshman year for the B team or JV, I guess some people would call it. That's he started one game in his high school career at quarterback. He's a walk-on. He was a walk-on safety. At North Texas. They ended up putting him in quarterback. He played so well at quarterback. He was the backup quarterback all last year. And then in the bowl game, he had to, Chandler Morris was in the transfer portal. Drew Mestemaker got his chance to start in that bowl game, and he played phenomenal. He had 400 yards passing, couple touchdowns, had 80 or 90 yards on the ground. They bring in Reese Poffenbarger, who everyone thought was going to be the starter. Reese Poffenbarger was at Old Dominion, Albany, and then he ended up at Miami a year ago, and then he ends up in North Texas. Everyone thinks Poffenbarger is going to be the starter. Mustermaker wins the job. He looked great again in week one, and I think North Texas is gonna put it on Western Michigan. I will say I think the Western Michigan defense did play better than I expected in week one, but I still think the Mean Green's going to put it on them. The Western Michigan offensive woes. They got to figure out the quarterback situation. It was not good in week one, and I'm not sure they have an answer at quarterback for the Broncos.
For those watching in a visual medium, apologies. I am just over here just getting through with allergies. It is rough over here in the streets. All right, back to our regular scheduled show. Missouri State at Marshall, 6 p.m. Eastern. Marshall's favored by 9.5, which I thought was a pretty big number.
It is because they look bad.
Well, I mean, Marshall.
They're playing Georgia. I get that.
Okay. Over under set at 57.5. What I am curious about is just how this game goes. You got Missouri State opened their first game in the FBS against USC.
Giving up
what do
70.
They look like? What do they look like against another team under, competition-wise about the same? But then Marshall is pretty much a whole new team. So how do they gel and go against a team that's more on their level and not a Georgia? So I'm just curious to what these teams look like.
Yeah, I think this game's going to tell us more about like what we should expect from Missouri State in Conference USA play, right? Personally, like I don't know. Like if you told me I had to pick or make a bet in this game, I'm probably picking Missouri State in the points, man. Yeah, I mean this could be an ugly game in terms of like not a lot of scoring, but I just lean Missouri State because of Jacob Clark at quarterback. Marshall, they rotate I think 3 quarterbacks in week one, and then and it wasn't Carlos Del Rio Wilson that got the start. It wasn't Zion Turner. And I don't even remember the guy I can't remember the guy's name that got the start. Zion Turner, I guess you could argue, looked the best against Georgia. But Marshall's got to get that quarterback situation figured out. And so I give the nod to Missouri State because of Jacob Clark. I think Jacob Clark is a good quarterback. And so I'm interested to see what Missouri State and how they can do against Marshall. I think it's going to tell us a lot in terms of what to expect from Missouri State once they get to Conference USA play.
All right, we got Western Kentucky at Toledo. Big game. Again, this one, UTSA, Texas State, and then this one later in the night, Western Kentucky at Toledo, 7 p.m. Eastern. This one is big. This one is Toledo favored by 6.5, 58.5 point over under at Toledo.
I think this game has huge implications for the college football playoff, right? I mean, Western Kentucky, we've talked about them like maybe only having one loss, and that would be against LSU. So this is a huge game for them. Like if they can win this game, like they're going to get, I think they'll get some consideration if they win Conference USA, because again, like I feel like the only for sure loss I see is against LSU. And so, and then conversely, it's a big game for Toledo for those same reasons, right? Like just think if Western Kentucky wins Conference USA, then and Toledo can say, well, we beat the Conference USA champ. We won the MAC. That's a big feather in their cap too. So you hate to say that, like this is a big game in terms of implications, but like I feel like most likely whoever loses this game is out of contention for the college football playoff.
What I am curious to see here is how MacIver looks against this Toledo defense. Like I mentioned, against Kentucky, the Toledo defense looked pretty good. So I think this tells us a little bit more about that Western Kentucky offense. And then obviously I'll be curious to see how this Western Kentucky run defense does against Chip Trayanum and this
Sure,
this
absolutely.
offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, can Tucker Gleason do they lean more on Chip in this game to kind of get the win for him? I can see that kind of playing out that way, and it also keeps the ball out of the hands of that explosive Western Kentucky offense.
All right, we've got Memphis at Georgia State, 7 p.m. Eastern. Memphis favored by 13.5. Over under set at 54.5. What am I looking for in this? I want to know a little bit more about Georgia State and their running game. I want to see what Memphis looks like because I don't feel like I really got a really good feel for Memphis in week 1. Georgia State played Ole Miss, so didn't really get a feel for them in week 1.
I was going to say the thing that stood out to me in that Georgia State game was, well, first of all, like they didn't look good, period. But they rotated the running backs, and like in my opinion, one of them looked better than all the rest, and he had very limited opportunities. But that was true freshman, friend of the show, Tawan Payton Jr. I thought he looked the best of those running backs. We got Rashad Amos, you got Branson Robinson. Those are some pretty well thought of guys. But I thought TJ looked the best. Be interested to kind of see how that running back room shakes out throughout the year. And then, what's going to happen with the quarterback situation now that TJ Finley's all of a sudden eligible and on the roster. I don't know. Give me Memphis. To your point, like, it'd be interesting to kind of see like what to make of the running back room, especially if DeRosier is out. Jonah's high on Sutton Smith. He's been high on Sutton Smith the last 2 years. Jonah Dillon, their beat reporter, and so this is an opportunity for him, right? If DeRosier is out, this could be a big opportunity for Sutton Smith to kind of exert his will, so to speak, and show us what he's got, and maybe be a significant player moving forward for carries in that running back room for Memphis. I'm also interested to see, I know we touched on it, but previously, but Cortez Braham, a receiver, was kind of a late addition to Memphis in August and fall camp. And he has a good history with Brendan Lewis. Both those guys were at Nevada last year. I want to say Cortez had like 90, maybe 100 targets a year ago. I think he only had 3 catches in week 1. But I mean, I think that could be a slow start for him, right? Just because he was late to fall camp. So I'm kind of interested to see like how that connection develops, how those two guys go moving forward for the Tigers.
All right, another big G5 matchup, Tulane at South Alabama, 7 p.m. Eastern. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Tulane favored by 10.5, over under set at 51.5. This one will be a fun one to watch. Bishop Davenport did not look all that great in their week 1 game. He didn't run the ball a whole bunch. He tried to on a couple occasions, and one time it was like the seas parted, and he was running loose with it, and a defensive lineman stripped him on a 4th down. It was like 4th and 2. He could have ran for it. I anticipate Tulane to handle their business and get out with a win here, and I think I would take Tulane in the 10.5 points. I think this defense is legit.
It's an interesting game. I think. I agree with you. Like, if Tulane is going to be the G5 rep, then they need to win the game. By the spread. But I'm kind of interested to see like how South Alabama plays in terms of more. I'm like more interested in like in terms of Sun Belt, right? Like where if they play them a close, tough game, then like tells me like, hey, South Alabama's like a legit contender to win the Sun Belt. We talked about them as being one of the teams that could win the Sun Belt West. And I think this is a good measuring stick against a really, really good Tulane team who I think is probably one of, if not the best defenses in all the Group of 5. And then we saw what they offensively they look good against the Northwestern team. So yeah, to me this game is more about trying to figure out what the measuring stick is for South Alabama in terms of what to expect for them in the Sun Belt.
You know what? Two comments already tonight. Again, shows are running longer because of all of the P4 versus G5 games. But Brett, is this not the greatest show on earth? Are you not entertained? Thank you. Second positive comment tonight. Love it, guys. Keep them.
No, we appreciate the positive comments. I don't mean to get off on a tangent, but like as you grow in popularity, you attract lots more people, and that means a lot more opinions. And we've certainly gotten 100% share of a lot of positive comments, but we've also gotten some like really not so nice comments. And so we appreciate the positivity, and that's the reason why we do it. We try not to let the negative ones get us down too much, but and like if you're looking at it from a percentage standpoint, the negative comments pale in comparison to the positive ones. But yeah, definitely appreciate the comments, Brett. Thank you.
All right, we got finish off strong here. We got 3 games to cover before we get out of here. Tulsa at New Mexico State, 9 p.m. Eastern. Tulsa favored on the road by 3.5. Over under set at 52.5. Tulsa playing some exciting football. Are they going to be able to run the ball like they were in week 1? New Mexico State, great defensive game all around by different members of that team. This one's going to be it's not a premier game, but I think this one's going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah.
I like Tulsa in this one because of the offense, but it'll be a fun one to watch.
I think it's going to be an entertaining game, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the Tulsa offense, I think is fun. With Kirk Francis and Zion Booker. Dominic Richardson had a great game week 1. Can he continue that against this New Mexico State defense? And then, do we see some growth from the New Mexico State offense, right? With Logan Fife there, quarterback, Kadarius Callaway at running back, and can they get the ball to some of their weapons on the outside, like a Tyler King or and others. I think this is going to be an entertaining game. So if it's late enough at night, 9:00 Eastern, like it might be something. If you're looking for something to kind of, I think what'll be a good game, I definitely would tune in.
All right, San Diego State at Washington State, 10:15 p.m. Eastern. Washington State favored by 1.5 points. Total over under 45.5 points. Washington State did not look good. We got to figure out. I did not think to reach out, but should probably figure out why Eckhouse did not get the start. That was kind of
it was like it was like I don't know, like everybody I think thought like Jackson Potter was like quarterback 4 going into the season, right? You had Zevia's number 1. Johnny Shepard was like a change of pace. And then I think there was another guy that's more of a dual threat that was in the mix too, whose name I don't know off the top of my head. But yeah, like you didn't hear anything about Jackson Potter. Next thing you know, he's a starting quarterback. And man, Washington State, it looked bad. I'm a little bit shocked that they are favored over San Diego State.
Give me San Diego State.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Lucky Sutton show.
Lucky Sutton.
Let's go.
Yeah, Lucky Sutton. Lucky Sutton. Remember the name, dude. Like he had a great game in week 1. I think he's gonna have another good game here in week 2.
All right. And our favorite game, 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Never, right at midnight. Can't be on Sunday.
No, it can't be on Sunday. It's got to start at 11:59.
Sam Houston at Hawaii. Sam Houston's defense has not looked great. Alejado, maybe he has 2 ankles that he
2
gets
bum
transplanted.
ankles. Is he?
So right now Hawaii favored by 7.5. Over under set at 49.5. I think I would take Hawaii in the points. I think I would take the over.
Well, it depends to me if Alejado plays or not, right? Like the health of Alejado means a lot in this game. Well,
I mean, if he's going to play against Arizona, I'm going to expect that he plays against Sam Houston. Maybe they say, you are going to rest in this one because we can win because it's Sam Houston. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, Brett's asking if we already talked. We did talk about it, Brett. But yeah, Alejandro played against Arizona. Why, I don't know. I said earlier, I think sometimes you got to protect the player from themselves. The player is going to want to play, right? And so obviously Alejandro wants to be there for his team. He's a gamer. He wants to play. But as the head coach, you kind of have to sit back and say, all right, man, like if this dude's not playing, like it's going to be bad news for us. We need to save him for the season. Now, to his defense, you're talking about him not being able to walk in the third quarter. I'm pretty sure he injured the opposite ankle. We talked about that in our news and notes. So he had one ankle that was heavily taped, but that wasn't the one that was hurting that he hurt against Arizona. It was the other ankle, and this one, like he didn't put any pressure on that ankle. Where at least with the previous week he walked off with some assistance. But yeah, he rolled his second ankle, and we didn't see him the rest of the game. And to your point, like maybe he shouldn't have been out there to begin with. So I'm slightly concerned about whether we see him this week or not. Just because now you got two really bad ankle sprains. Like it's one thing to go out there with one. Now you got two of them. That I don't know, man. I don't have any knowledge, but I wouldn't be shocked if we don't see him out there, in week 2 against Sam Houston. But yeah, I agree with you, Brett. I'm concerned too. And then it kind of sucks because this seems like a prime matchup to see what Alejandro can do against a Sam Houston defense that is not good at all. So yeah, we'll have to see. If we hear anything, we'll share it. But I don't know. I feel like I'm 50-50 right now on Alejandro playing, just from my pure gut feel.
That is going to do it for us tonight. We made it through week 1. Looking forward to week 2. Again, we are going to do our best to give you our information each and every week. This week 2, talked about it. Justice and I will both be at different games, so we will do the best we can to get you up to speed.
We'll have to watch a lot of ESPN Plus on replays on ESPN Plus on Sunday, especially the later games. I'll be able to watch some of the early ones, but yeah. And hopefully the plan next week is to talk about our 2020 players and hopefully for you guys that play college fantasy football, we'll end the segment with some waiver wire pickups. It's just when we're covering this many games, man, it's tough to get everything prepared.
Yeah, it'll be like
ready.
3.5 hour show.
It'll be a 3-hour show, right? 3 plus 3.5 hour show. And so that's a lot. Where I'm at right now, it's 1 a.m. for me. So yeah, but hopefully the plan is next week to give you all that stuff. And then, we'll have another week's worth of information when it comes to the 2020 players. We didn't want to talk about, hey, this guy has the highest in attempts when he's only played one game. But I guess even if we don't have time, I think the plan next week is at the very least to kind of tweet the graphics out in terms of who those 2020 players are. And if you're not familiar, 2020 players are just basically our way of recognizing the top players in the G5. We talk it's quarterbacks, receivers, running backs, tight ends, offensive line. We started doing the offensive line towards the end of last year. And I just put the finishing touches on a scoring metric for offensive linemen that is unique to the G5 Hive. I don't know that anyone else uses this metric. But anyway, I came up with a metric to rate offensive linemen and how, to be able to compare them and say these ones are better than these ones. So, yeah, offensive line, defensive line, we break it down, defensive end and tackles. Offensive line, we break down between centers, guards, and tackles. Linebackers, cornerbacks, and safeties. So tune in next week. We should have that for you guys. And thank you. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you're listening on or watching on X, give us a retweet, a follow. And if you're listening on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Please subscribe and leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. Again, just so grateful for everyone's support, for all the positive comments, for the amazing amount of growth that we've seen over the last. This is year 3. We're starting year 3, so we just wrapped up year 2. We've had so much growth and so much support. We just want to once again, that's all to you guys. So thank you for that, and be sure to join us again next week when we kind of go over what happened in week 2 and look forward to kind of getting you ready for what to expect in week 3. And as always, bring you up to date on all the latest news and happenings around the world of G5 college football. So until then, until the next time, we are the G5 Hive.